Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to the Esports Report. It is Puckett and Maven tonight bringing you the Pro League action. Tonight, we got some interesting matchups. Some of the top dogs going up against each other, but we're starting at the bottom of the barrel. 1 in 4 squads. Rise Nation and TK kick off our evening, Maeve.
Yeah, I'm excited. There's a lot of big matchups, but the Rise TK one, I know it's, I guess, not the most thrilling matchup of the evening, but obviously a lot of implications as some of these teams aren't doing so well so far here in Season 3. But I'm excited, Chris. Last time we casted together, I think it's been, I guess it was, did we cast together last week when we did all those crazy, we had like two game 11s, or 2 round 11s, bunch of crazy series.
It's been an exhausting 7 days apart. I agree. It's been way too long.
Yeah, very, very long. I've missed you terribly. You know, we weren't at UMG together. You're across the United States from me.
I'm sorry.
I think about you frequently, Chris.
I appreciate your thoughts. I don't know about you, but I just got dropped out of the game. Loading up once again. Rise and Team Kaliber. Both teams off to a terrible start. But Rise looking pretty good. They got 3-0'd last night against Isolation. Every game, though, very close. It was basically a round in search and destroy. Final moments of the Hardpoint. The uplink game went to overtime. What do you think of the moves here, Maven? I honestly did not see them coming in and not only making the change yesterday to grab Apathy, but also Jasano instead of TCM?
Honestly, I was the Apathy trade with TJ Haley. I saw it yesterday, and I work a little bit later because I'm out here on the West Coast, and I saw it while I was at the office, and I just looked at everyone. I was like, what in the hell? I didn't see that coming at all.
No.
Has anything now this... You know, I've been on Reddit. I've been trying to follow stuff. Has anything come out to the exact reason for the trade?
I haven't
was it just a pure owner roster move? Just felt better with this lineup, or was it personnel issues between the players? Has anything actually come out about it? Because I was very shocked.
Yeah, I honestly have not heard any official statements on the subject. Apathy, though, real quick to put Rise in his gamer tag. I feel like he's happy in his new home. And TJ, you got to think he's comfortable going back to Slackton and Classic. He had so much success with these guys just last season with Elevate.
Well, what's strange for me is I love that Elevate team. They were playing so well together. What did they had to make the change with TJ and Temp, and I thought that they were making the roster change in order. I assumed it was for Gfinity. You know, it's the 18+, big prize pool. I thought that's why they were making the changes. So now to bring TJ back, I guess I'm pretty surprised. You know, I saw there's kind of that Denial Elevate mix-up. The roster is going to be owned to Gfinity, but I don't know. I guess I assumed it was an age thing, the whole reason the change was made, because TJ's been playing out of his mind pretty much throughout all of Advanced Warfare. So to see him go right back there was kind of a shock. And
he had a pretty good night last night. I was looking at a few of the stats, a 1.32, I believe, in the first Hardpoint they played yesterday.
Doesn't surprise me.
So TJ looking good again. Elevate not playing this evening, but we do have all 8 of your squads ready to show you now. TK and Rise Nation kick things off. Orbit looking stronger than anyone expected last night. They bombed out of UMG, but then beat Envious, as they are now going to go up 3-2, tied with Envy in overall series count in the Pro League. Tonight they play Optic Gaming. Optic not looking terrible, but not looking like the unstoppable force that they once were. Optic actually still looking really good. I think all of us had Optic Gaming winning this one. How surprised would you be to see Orbit take this series, though, Maven?
I'd be very surprised. I said going into UMG, the reason I thought Optic was still, for the most part, unbeatable. You know, we all agree that the only team we thought could do it would be FaZe, but the reason I thought they were is because I thought they were all still hungry. I didn't think there would be any letdown. I think it's pretty clear there was a bit of one there in the loss to Epsilon. I was a bit startled by that. I got to think with a player like Krim on their team, they are going to be so hungry now. They want to impress people. I saw Krim's tweets at some fans last night, like unfollowing people, like fully supporting the green wall, just going on about how it's motivation. I think they're going to be playing hard, Chris. I do not expect an upset from Orbit.
I'm excited to see what's going to happen. We got our first game loading up right now, though, between Rise and Team Kaliber. Maven, you guys all went Rise. What made you so confident in selecting this team tonight? I don't know what I was thinking when I picked TK, to be completely honest.
No, this one was kind of a coin flip for me for the most part. I just think I liked Rise more online in this particular matchup, and TK really hasn't been playing all that strong. Looks like, well, TK is already scared of the Rise Nation as they've all left the game. But I just haven't been impressed with TK lately. I didn't think they were going to do very well in UMG. I haven't been picking them to do great in the online league. And is there a specific thing? No, it just goes back to the conversations we've had over the past couple of weeks. They make all these team changes. I never think it's significant upgrades.
Yeah.
And I guess I don't have high expectations for them, unfortunately, despite the fact that I love every player on the team and the org itself.
Apathy has me really scared about this matchup for Team Kaliber. What he was doing last night for Rise was pretty fierce. It looks like he's gelling with the team very quickly. Now you're playing Wheats, TCM, Apathy, and Chino. This may be the strongest four-man lineup that we've seen out of Rise so far.
I think it's fair to say that Apathy, in my opinion, is the best and most skilled player to ever be on Rise. I think that's fair to say, at least in my opinion. I think he's a big upgrade over what they've had in the past. TCM, a really strong young player. Chino as well. Wheat's obviously been a staple of this organization for what? It seems like it's got to be getting close to a year and a half, 2 years now.
Right.
I feel like Apathy can fit on any team, Chris. He's just the guy that he tries to make hero plays, doesn't play a cerebral enough game sometimes, but when he's such a monster and going off in respawns, I think you can kind of just toss him on a team and say, go, and Apathy's going to put up big numbers for you in respawn.
This is TCM's first night in the Pro League, guys. Just looking at COD Comp stats, and there's a 0.00 for his overall KD.
That's impressive. Impressive stuff.
First night of Pro League, I think all eyes should be on TCM. How well is he playing? Because he was traded, remember, for Gunjar. Gunjar was on this Rise squad after the TK drop, and then FaZe brought TCM on as a substitute right away to kick off the Pro League. TCM a week later makes his way over to Rise Nation, and now they're playing with the starting four that they wanted. Last night they had a fill-in, but I'm excited to see how this is all going to play out. Over on the TK side of things, though, it wasn't terrible at UMG, but it definitely didn't go well. You saw them go 2-2 in pool. If they had a little bit of a better record, game-wise, they would have won some tiebreaker action. End of the day, they exit the tournament a lot earlier than they wanted to. But
they were 3-0 by Optic and losers, right?
Right.
Yeah, and that's tough. I mean, that's the one thing as much as I said during the bracket show, I said I'd love to see Optic get upset early on, make them be forced to make a run, and that's exactly what we got. I guess that's the only downside you have with something like that. When you put such a monster into the losers bracket, I mean, if you're TK, you're just like, really? Like, this is a team we expect to face off against in a winners bracket final if we're making a run, or hit them up in the losers bracket finals, not have to face in, God, what was it, losers 4?
It
losers
was
5?
way too early.
It was pretty early on.
Yeah, it was a big surprise. Optic, of course, crashing out of the winners bracket. TK getting pre-seeded a little bit deeper into that losers bracket, but not nearly as far as they'd like to be. So,
I was completely guessing what round it was.
Yeah, I didn't want to back you up or disagree in case you were right and I looked like a tool. I
was like, I'll throw numbers out there. Crystal,
losers bracket 3.5 divided by 7, square root of 9. Numbers. Tonight, we're going to see one of these teams, though, drop down to 1-5, and I think that is almost as big of a story as one of them's on the come-up of 2-4. 1-5 is going to do some serious damage. All three of you guys think it's going to be TK with this super slow start. We've seen it from them so many times in the Pro League. They're trying to avoid it now. Rise Nation, though, has also been in this situation in the past. I remember them starting off super slow in Season 2, able to mount their comeback. So tonight might be the turning point for one of these two teams. Optic Gaming against Orbit a little bit later on. Orbit with the big win over Envy, and Envy has a lot to prove against FaZe. If they lose tonight, they go to 500 at 3-3. FaZe continues on an impressive streak. They would go up to 4-1. Denial plays TCM, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a TCM upset later in the tournament as well. But for now, it looks like our match number 1 is ready once again, Maven. Let's jump right back into Retreat for our first game in the best of 5. We're starting with Hardpoint on Retreat.
Well, Chris, I'm incredibly excited. This is going to be a fun night. Retreat Hardpoint, one of my favorite game types. And I thought I was booting in. I am not sure.
Yeah, I'm watching some fireflies and leaves.
Yeah, I see some. That's a beautiful view. I mean, honestly, if I was,
we're gonna
rewind time. It's 4th of July. That looks like it'd be a fantastic setting for a nice barbecue.
I'm looking through who dropped out. Looks like we got Chino, we got App, we got Wheats, and TCM there. So all of Rise is there. On the other side, Nameless, Neslo, Sharp. We're missing a Theory.
Yeah, and this, you know, you talked about the fact that, what was it? A team's either going to go 1-5 or 2-4. I guess, I mean, the main thing, I almost want to see TK struggle just because, I mean, who's at the team house right now? It's just Sharp in Theory, correct?
I'm honestly not even sure of who's there.
Yeah, I think it's only two of them. And I saw Neslo tweet out something saying, God, I can't remember the exact wording, but it's something delaying him moving into the team house, need to take care of some stuff first. Mm-hmm. I feel like if they struggle for another week or so, they're going to realize, hey, like, we have to get the hell of the team house now. We have to focus up, time to boot camp, time to get rolling. I mean, for me, and this isn't knocking a specific player, I fully understand that people have responsibilities and stuff that may prevent them from going to a team house, but if you have a goddamn team house, you need to get to it. Like that,
you need to play
it. It's such a great resource for an online league. They need to get to the house.
It's definitely an advantage. Playing in the same room or in the same area, being able to communicate, it's a lot different in person than it is online as well. On top of all four of you benefiting when you're hosting, it's like it's kind of a no-brainer. We'll see when they decide is late enough to jump into the team house. I guess, how far can you go into the season before you need to make a move, considering right now you're -3, could be -4 at the end of tonight?
I mean, I think it kind of needs to happen now. I mean, we've talked about how big each of these games are since it dropped from 44 to 22. 1-5 is scary. 1-6 scary. It's just going to get worse and worse and worse. I think it needs to happen now. I mean, if I was an org owner and I had a team house, I was paying the money to have that, and I'm putting players on my roster, I mean, for me, I'd be putting players on my roster that could be at the team house. Like, it would be part of a contract. Like, you have to be there. So I think that's something that'll start to happen, is the pressure starts to build for this team. You know, I know TK has a lot of stuff going for them on YouTube for a lot of their players, and there's stuff outside of the competitive scene, but I know they want to win. I know they have a lot of hungry players. So, I mean, Chris, they've got to get going now, as in, like, this week or next.
Like, right now.
Yeah. Like this minute. Like, this map right now as they're loading in would be a good start.
This would be a good time. Big stories here to watch tonight. Either Orbit is going to improve up to 4-2 or drop back to 3-3. Same thing can be said about Envy. TCM has the least amount of games played in Pro League tonight. They are going to have their hands full with a perfect denial squad. And you heard it on the pregame show from Mr. X and Benson. They have not won a search and destroy yet in Pro League. So big matches for all of the lower teams right now. We're starting things off here with Team Kaliber. I got Sharp on my screen to open things up, and I was looking at his numbers. Believe it or not, Sharp has a .76 overall KD in the Pro League. He just is not getting the kills we're used to seeing out of Sharp.
And thank you guys for updating me on Twitter. I knew I couldn't remember exactly what he said, but yeah, it is a family health thing. Part of the reason Neslo can't be to the house. So that's, yeah, people have personal stuff obviously to deal with. That makes it tough. But we'll see if TK can get going here in game number 1. Everyone pretty much trading here mid-map. No one really able to get control here early on, Chris. But who's the one? You know, if you need someone to really, really step it up for TK, you mentioned Sharp's numbers a little lackluster. Who's the guy for you this series that's really got to get going?
I think Theory is kind of always an X factor for me. He's a guy who takes over search and destroy games. When he's slaying, you definitely see a stronger respawn game from the squad. Currently 0-3. Has a capture to his name, but hasn't been able to pick up a single kill in the opening minute. Let's go to him now and see if he can get something going at Turtle.
Let's take a look here. They've got it set up pretty well. You can see via the COD vision, one player is going to be pushing the back. Theory's going to lose that gunfight. So TCM actually comes in and gets a big 2-piece. He's able to take out Theory and Sharp and take control of Turtle. So now it's going to be Rise's turn at control. They had Neslo trying to break over top wall. They were able to shut that down. And now you can see pretty much everyone, the entire team of TK is going to be flying over wall here, Chris.
Sharp doing work with the PAL, picked up 2. Fighting a third is going to take out Wheats as well. Big break there from Sharp. Will they be able to turn it into points? It looks like Nameless is going to jump in. 20 points left on this second hard point before the rotation. And Theory is watching pool wall. Looks like Rise, though, not really moving. They're watching the cuts, waiting for an early transition.
Well, with 10 seconds left, I mean, you don't necessarily need to push it again. You do see Chino, though. He is going to put a little bit of pressure, try and stop them from getting this scrap time. And he effectively, I think, saved about 5 points there. So if it comes down to a 5-point game, Chino, excellent stuff as he was able to pick up a 2-piece there and stop the action. It does look like TCM timed out. We'll see if he's able to hop back into this one. I know recently we had some rules regarding this particular situation. So we'll see if TCM's able to hop back in here quickly.
Rise is doing a nice job still picking up kills. His Apathy, 3 straight kills he's contesting. Right now, as you said, just buy time until TCM can get back in here. The rule states currently the game will continue regardless if the 4th is able to get back in. Unfortunately, if Rise ended this, it would be an immediate forfeit. So they're going to have to play down a man. And this is just going to be something that I think we're going to run into throughout the Pro League. Online connections constantly being issues for the players. We'll see what's going on with TCM. For the moment, though, I'm looking over at TK. Nameless starting to heat up on a 4 streak, 11-8 so far in this game.
All right, we'll get eyes on Nameless. He has one player pushing from the right, not able to win that gunfight. It's Chino able to pick it up. You saw Apathy also getting a 2-piece on your screen. 7 minutes left to go now. We are going to have the rotation to the bottom hill. It's going to be Theory that's inside. Sharp watching the top. Sharp able to pick up 2. And this is going to be tough to break, especially right now in the 3v4.
Apathy is doing so well slaying. And he is finally cleaned up. Looking at the mini-map, though, as you said, 3-on-4. They got you pinned here on spawn. Nameless is on top of you. But now Neslo and Sharp lose their presence at the top. Neslo's got to defend himself down low, and he's going to get one. Theory trying to watch the back end. Both players running out of ammo, and it's going to be a little bit of help from the top. Nameless shooting over the shoulders. But look at this. Rise down a man. Still pushing TK out.
Yeah, you see Weiss, he's in the hard point, just kind of bursting that bow, trying to get hit markers across. I think he ran out of ammo, tries to fly with the knife, but that's just going to lead to a Sharp 2-piece. Sharp, you talked about his KD. Right now, though, stepping it up. It's 18-12, currently on a 2 streak. I'm going to get eyes on with him, but he's actually going to drop pretty much immediately. And despite the fact they're down a man, I mean, it's still relatively close. I mean, they're leading by 40, and this is one of those cases where, you know, you kind of hope if you Rise that there'll be a bit of letdown of TK. You know, they'll start joking around a bit, like, it's 4 versus 3. We don't have to take it as serious as can be. And who knows? Rise may be able to sneak something off. TCM gets to join back in, and they can pull it off here towards the end.
Absolutely, man. Taking a look at Theory. And he is starting to get it going. Picks up 2 in a row. Still 7-13, though. I understand you're sitting in the hill. You're not taking it super serious because you're playing with one less opponent, but Theory really not getting the job done in the slaying department. We said he's my player to watch throughout the night. Really hope he can get it going. Once TCM's back in the action, they're definitely going to need him to play at the top of his game.
I was watching Theory, who was set up in the top of the hard point. He was getting pushed, but Sharp was able to pretty much clean that up immediately. And now the rotation comes. You can see getting set up mid-map is going to be TK first and foremost. Theory's able to get 1. Theory's able to get 2. Nameless cleans up the 3rd there, and they've now got control of the central hardpoint. I talked about it staying relatively close. Since then, the past 50 seconds, I believe it's been 50 points for TK. So it started to run away from Rise a little bit here, and it's going to be very, very tough for them to effectively get any kind of points here top middle.
I've been looking at the weapon choices. You saw Sharp running a bow for majority of the first half. You see Nameless running a bow as well. Theory and Neslo sticking with the SMGs for the most part, but now Theory's going back to the bow. So they're going 3 bow strategy here in a 4-on-3. I'd love to see if this is going to keep up going into the second hard point.
Depends on the map, I suppose. Oh, you mean the second? Sorry, I thought you meant the second hard point in the series. I was like, well, that's probably going to depend on many factors. But
we've already
you mean the second hard point here? I think it's gotten to a point where they can pretty much run whatever they're comfortable with, just considering the circumstances. And you know, Theory, I think was what 5-12 or something to start. He's going to be looking to pick up kills here. I do see the ASM1 though back in his hands. The bow for Sharp, bow for Nameless, and it looks like they're going 2-2. Is it ASM1 here for Neslo?
And this has got to be so frustrating for Rise. You can see they just can't even get near the hard point. It is shut down slaying coming out of TK. Sharp having a pretty good one. Nameless had the high hand early on. He's staying above positive. He's +2 right now. And Neslo has now broken into positive as well at 20-18. He's got 5 captures to his name to join those kills.
All right, I'm watching Sharp. He's able to get 1 top wall, basically 50 points away here from closing out map number 1.
And this is bad news for the Vulcan fans who even picked the TK players. I mean, look at this. You're almost done with the game. No one above 25 kills. This is not great stats.
It's a better situation than if you had picked TCM.
That's very true. Very, very true.
But I was watching Neslo. They're loading, rotating over. They've got R completely locked down right now. One player was pushing from pool side. Apathy's able to clean up one before. I would say he's going to get traded out, but he actually gets two. So Apathy still putting on a show here for the fantasy owners at 29 and 20. And this is actually, if you're a fantasy owner, typically if you're talking about this scenario, when you're in a 3v4, it's actually really potential to kind of get more kills, unless you're on complete lockdown, just because you have more opportunities for kills with the being down a man.
Absolutely. Apathy still looking for that 30 bomb. Chino has caught up to him as well at 29 and 26. He's been doing a nice job with the bow throughout this game, as Apathy is sticking mostly to the sub. Sharp defending Art, though, and here are the final 3 seconds. He is going to lock it down 250 to 75. It was pretty close in the first 4 minutes, and then TK just exploded and ran away with this game as Rise was down a man. So game 1 in the books, it goes in favor of TK. We're going to commercial break, and during that, we hope to get TCM back in the action before we kick off game number 2, Search and Destroy.